the praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone who rule and teach well. Peace and safety and much blessings to the occupants pushing this truth out the four corners of the earth and all truth and sincerity and diligence. Shalom. And as you can see, the title of this article, Iran declares total war on America, Europe, in new chilling threat. Okay, but it also, you have other articles where it says Iran it declares total war on America, Israel, and Europe. Okay, because all three, well, Iran, Babylon the Great, the small hats, Europe, they all key players in this in end time prophecy. All right, which will bring forth, World War III. Okay, because it speaks about in Revelations the 11th chapter. It says the second woe has passed, the third woe coming quickly. Right? Okay, so Iran has declared total war. And understanding the times that we in is that you have conflict and war and uprisings of the kings of the earth throughout the four corners of the earth. You got China, rising up against Taiwan and showing that I think it was 100 missiles, 100 nuclear missiles. I believe it was. I forgot the details of that article. United States and Venezuela. Okay, you got all these different conflicts that's going on, man. Especially you got Iran and Israel, with America being involved. Right, cause dealing with the spirit of prophecy, we understand that this is where we at. This is Ecclesiastes 3:8. It says, well, I'm gonna start at 1. It says, for everything there is a season, a time for every activity under heaven. So the activity that we in time for is alluding to verse 8, a time to love, a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. So judging from your own perspective of what you seeing, what's going on the planet Earth, you tell me what time that we in. Are we in a time of peace and love, or are we in a time of hate and war? All right, because these end time headlines, which is the name of this article, this is the 28th. Iran declares total war on America, Europe, and new chilling threat. Okay, so it says, in a forceful and unprecedented statement that underscores the dramatic escalation in international tensions, Iran's President Mossad Pezeshkian has declared that the Islamic Republic is in a state of total war against the United States, Israel, and Europe. See, right there, Babylon the Great, small hats, and Europe. Going into what the EU, man. It says, according to interviews published, and this is the scriptures is speaking. All right, and we already know that Russia is going to be a guard to Iran. It says, according to interviews published on the official website of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Peshkian portrayed the current confrontation as deeper and more complex than past conflicts. Because as time go by, the hatred and the conflicts become more like deep, including brutal 1980 through 1988 war with Iraq. Okay, in my view, we are in an all-out war with the United States, Israel, and Europe. They do not want our country to stand on its own 2 feet, right? Pezeshkian said in the interview, this war is worse than the war with Iraq. They are surrounding us on all fronts, economically, culturally, politically, and in terms of security. Okay. So it's basically that they got Iran backed into a corner. Okay. And what happens whenever, You know, you ever watch a Floyd Mayweather fight? Whenever they back Floyd down in the corner and that back leg touched the bottom, that bottom rope on the ring, then he throws that either, you know, left hook or left jab or right cross. You know, eventually, you know, you back somebody in the corner, you know, they're gonna strike back. You know, President Pezeshkian used the phrase "total war," signaling something broader than conventional battlefield engagement, according to his remark. And we understand that he says total war signaling something broader than conventional battlefield engagement. And then he speaks about a time in the scriptures that, you know, the time that we coming in is gonna be nothing like conventional war like it was, you know, in past time. Isaiah the ninth chapter. This is Isaiah 9 and 5. It says the boots of the warrior and the uniform bloodstains by war will all be burnt. They will be they will be fuel for the fire. But KJV is more thorough with it. It says for thou it says for every battle of the warriors with confused noise, you know. Actually, you know, hands on combat tanks, you know what I mean? Things like that. And garments rolled in blood, you know. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire, right? Because that's what it is in the planet Earth. Like, you know, ain't nobody's really playing with, you know, hands-on combat anymore, right? We're wiping continents out, you know. So it says Iran views sustained economic sanctions and diplomatic pressures from Western allies as part of a comprehensive campaign to weaken its sovereignty. Okay, the conflict, he said, extends beyond military strikes into cultural and political pressure, creating what Tehran describes as a persistent and multi-dimensional aggression. Right, because when America, you know, these Edomite leaders and rulers, and once they want to take you out, man, they're gonna hit you from every side. Okay, it says the president accused Western powers of seeking to bring our country to its knees. You see, from every side, a phrase that encapsulates the deep distrust between Tehran and the West. This announcement comes against the backdrop of highly volatile year marked by a sharp escalation in military confrontations between Iran and Israel. Okay, in June, Israel carried out a series of airstrikes on Iranian military and nuclear facilities, later joined by U.S. forces, significantly degrading parts of Iran's infrastructure. Iranian authorities claim the strikes caused more than 1,000 casualties, including senior military officials and nuclear science. Iran responded with hundreds of missiles and drones towards Israeli territories, resulting in dozens of Israeli facilities, according to the regional reports. These clashes have effectively halted any lingering efforts to revive negotiations with the United States over Iran's nuclear program. It says Tehran has rejected Western demands to significantly curb its uranium enrichment and missile efforts, viewing such cause as a violation of its sovereignty. Like, man, get the hell out of here, man. We're gonna continue doing what we gotta do for our country, right? Despite economic pressure, including renewed sanctions driven by European wars, Iran's leadership claims that its military capacity has grown since June conflict. Peshkin insisted that Iranian forces are stronger than during the 12-day war and warned that any future attack on Iran will be met with more decisive response. All right, and that's biblical right there, right? Because it says, I believe that's in Joel, the third chapter, Joel 3 and uh, 9. It says, proclaim this among you the Gentiles, prepare for war. Wake ye up, mighty men. Let all men of war draw near. Let them come up. beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Okay, so the weak, right? Iran, right, which was once considered weak, is saying what? Stronger than the 12-day war. Okay, why? Because they also have the guard of you know well, they also being guarded by Russia. Okay, let me say it like that. All right, it says any future attacks will be met with more decisive response. His remarks were made just days before a planned meeting in the United States between Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and U.S. President Donald Trump, where Iran's strategic direction is expected to be a foremost topic on agenda. Okay, so basic, and I just seen a clip on that. He's Donald Trump said if they start building with basically their nuclear program or their missile program, they're gonna throw it down. They're gonna cast it down. They're gonna take it down. But he said any future attack will be met with what? This more decisive response. All right. Iranian economy has suffered under the weight of renewed sanctions and depreciating currency, rising inflation. Pezeshkian noted that in his comments that this is multifaceted pressure is a part of what he frames as the border of war being waged against Iran, designed to destabilize the nation internally as well as externally. And that's how this devil do. He's gonna take you down and infiltrate you, take you down from the inside, and then once he weaken the inside, he gonna come from externally. All right, you see. But the thing is that hey, Iran declares total war, right? Which that right there should brothers and listeners and hearers and doers of the word should understand. When you read Ezekiel the 38th chapter, oh man, Ezekiel the 38th chapter is going into Russia and Iran. All right, it says this is Ezekiel 38 and 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them. So this is talking about Russia, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, which is I believe that's Armenian and Turkey. Okay, but this is going to say Russia, right? It's talking about Russia. And it says that, and say, thus says the Lord Yahweh, I am against thee, O Gog, chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So don't get it twisted. Even though the Lord is using Russia, he still is against them because he's still Edomites, But he's gonna use them to do his bidding, all right, to be at the forefront of the destruction of Babylon the Great. I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, all right, bring Russia back to that old Soviet Union spirit of taking down Babylon the Great, all right, standing up against Babylon the Great, this whore, okay. So he put that hook back in them jaws, all right. So he will rise up against Babylon the Great, and I will bring thee forth and all thy army, horses and horsemen. See, because these Russia, they got military, they got big military, and these men over there, they actual men, man, pumping with testosterone. All right, because here in America, in Russia, they look at the military in America as a laughing stock, right? All of them clothes with sort of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords, right? So he's gonna be he's gonna be company, right? All right, and so people, the kings of the earth, are choosing sides, man. But we understand that you're gonna have really it's gonna be Babylon the Great and those Israelis over there. They're going to get nuked. Right? Everybody else is gonna turn their back on America. Okay, but look what it says. Persia, right? And Persia is known. Well, Iran is known as Persia in the scriptures, which Iran well, I, Persia changed its name to Iran in 1935. Okay, so this is how we know, that when we read this right here, this is prophetic, man. Okay, this is what was in. Understand that if this is going on right now, if we can see this is going on right now, right? Iran declares total war on America. Then we understand how close the implementation of the MOTB is. So, us as men in the know, women in the know, we have to continue to fight these spirits, these wicked, demons that try to come up against us and throw us off our path, man. All right. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but look what we got going on here. Iran declares total war on America. Right, while you got Jake just getting ready for New Year's, these people making these New Year resolutions that they only gonna keep up for a week or two. Okay, they're not understanding that. Hey, shit, it is about to be a war here on the planet Earth, man. That's and nuclear missiles is gonna take this place out. Jeremiah 51. This is Jeremiah 51, and let's see. I want to say 27. No, that's not the one I wanted. But yeah, yeah, yeah. We can read that. Or say there's arrows. Oh man, it's kind of a niggity. Okay. Make bright the arrows. Okay, so this is Jeremiah 51 and 11. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields, O Yahweh, hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, which are the Russians, for his device against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Okay? Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon and make watch strong. Set up the watchmen, prepare the ambush, for the Lord had both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. Okay? Where is that? Okay, look, this is verse 28. Prepare against her the nations with the nations with the kings of the Medes. So remember that great company that we read about in Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Prepare her the nations with the king of Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. And the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon desolate without inhabitants. Okay, so that's what we're up on, World War III. Okay, and the Lord, opening up His armory to send, weapons of His indignation, from the, four corners of the earth, or the other side of the earth, to, take this place out, man. So, we got to stay strong in this, brothers and sisters. We got to stay, because right now, the demons are working in overtime to take us all out, man. All right, to take us out. We are really, really at the end of this thing, and it's a lot of talks about, what's going to happen in 2026. So, we got to stay strong, man. Stay prayed up, and Lord willing, keep fighting, bro. That's what it is. Just keep fighting. As long as you're fighting, you're making a conscious effort, man. The Lord understands, the woes and trials that we go through here, man. So if you keep fighting, that's pleasing unto the Lord. So, shalom.